Can you hear me? I'm from my phone because for my computer I can't do anything. So I just want to know whether or not this is actually working. Oh, great. Well, this must be a problem with the webcam probably. I don't know what the problem is. I have no clue. I just tried to basically put on a stream, you know, from a computer as usual, and it just wouldn't do anything. Just didn't let me do it. Several times, restarted, tried everything I could, checked the camera settings, everything seemed fine. So I'm just going to try and set this up a little bit. Fine. So I'm just going to try and set this up a little bit and yeah. Well, it works now, but from my mobile phone, so I'm gonna have to obviously make some minor adjustments. So let's see if we can perhaps there is another way to... Yeah, just give me a few seconds, guys. Literally, it will not take long. I just wanna set this up, see if I can... I don't know, really, to be honest, I don't think we need a tripod. I'll just grab something a bit taller and we'll be okay. Let's get a box under that thing. Ah, bloody hell. I mean, hate it when YouTube does something stupid like that and they don't let you... I mean, I don't even know if it's YouTube or if it's just the... if it's something else. But whatever it is, yeah, it wasn't gonna let me do it. And I'm gonna need to open up a window. Okay, so let's see if we can tilt it like so. And hope that it doesn't fall over as well. Okay. So that's the table. Guess you can sort of see what's going on here. And should hopefully be able to start once I down my teacup. In fact, maybe I can... Yeah, okay, this is not gonna work like that, so let's try. And that's not gonna happen either. Just trying to experiment with a good angle here, so... Well, I think this is a perfect angle. As long as it doesn't fall over, that's fine. Because my tripod is gonna be too big to fit on this table, even as it is. Even if I basically retract it to the full, which I did, it's just too massive. Might need to get myself a maybe a smaller tripod for these kind of situations in case it doesn't work again in the future. And to be honest, my webcam is a bit glitchy and stupid, and I tried updating it. Nothing. The usual idiocracy, basically. So let's go on here. Let's also change this settings, if there is anything that I can do. Or let's just see if it allows me to do anything. Okay, yeah, let's put the thumbnail because I don't really want my mugshot in there. Not really my best choice. Yeah, let's do that one. Has it saved? Let me just check if it's saved. Right. So as soon as I down that cup, we're gonna start sculpting the Stegosaurus. So let's wait for it. Well, not only a proper one, but also a bigger one as well, because it's a 1:10 scale. When it's fully built, it will be 24 inches long, roughly, as big as this ruler. I just haven't done the tail yet. The tail will be separate, because I cannot fit it in the oven. So, yeah, other than that, really. Okay, lovely. So I've got the thing in front of me now everywhere. I can see the chat, I can see that. So let's just quickly down this cup and we'll get started right away. Let me just get rid of all the unnecessary crap that's lying around here. It's been a huge mess while I was trying to really get this thing to work. I absolutely hate it when technology just doesn't freaking, you know, want to work. Okay. So at the moment, the Stegosaurus has only a torso, legs, obviously head and neck and stuff like that, but it doesn't have the tail yet. At the moment, the tail is just this, basically. That's all there is for the tail. Yeah, Pteranodon will come eventually, mate. Definitely. We've got a few more to finish, but before we get to Pteranodon, but Pteranodon will be a very good one, and it will probably not be particularly difficult to make either. Let me just type up the... just so I can bring up the skeletal in front of me on the screen so I can follow it, the guideline. Yeah, there we go. We've got the... I'm mainly using the specimen from London Museum, the specimen nicknamed Sophie. Although the size may not necessarily match because Sophie is not particularly huge. Although it may actually be about 6 meters, which is roughly basically the size of this ruler, which is what I planned. So I'm just going with what the sort of statistical size for Stegosaurus Stenops is. Yeah, it's a subadult as well, and it's not obviously a fully grown specimen, so we'll have to take that into account. So obviously I will probably do a bit more things to it, just kind of make some plates a little bit more pronounced perhaps. We'll see what happens. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get to that point of making plates yet, because we're going to have to do some other stuff first before we get to the plates. But we'll see what happens. We've got plenty of time. Seagull, Hesperornis is not a seagull, dude. It's Ichthyornis that's a seagull, but that's a different one. Yeah, we don't know that, by the way. We don't have really any testable evidence. It was just a suggestion. There is no reason to suggest that males were like that. Don't confuse suggestions with evidence, please. Remember, check your facts. I've been mulling this over for ages, and so far I have not found any evidence of dimorphism in the Stegosaurus. It's just been suggested, but there's no reason to suggest that basically, you know, that it was true. It was just a theory, but no evidence. So, until there's no evidence for this, bye-bye theory. I'm afraid I don't understand your question. I don't know what that means. What do you mean, are they still friends? Also, I've recently heard that apparently they are getting Ron Howard, you know, doing another sequel for the... Well, since I watched Ethan Van Sciver, so I'm just gonna say Soy Lo Soy We're Sorry, and I'm not excited about that. In any case, I don't think they were competing. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, they lived in the same period, in the same environment, but I don't think they were competing. At least that's just my kind of guess, but who knows. No, it's half full, so not much longer to go, because it's cooled down a little bit, so I'm gonna down it shortly and then we'll get started. So what y'all been up to? Everybody watched Avengers Infinity War? Everybody's caught up with it? Because I might probably do some rant on that a little bit. Oh yeah, typical mistake, listening to documentaries and what they're proposing because they're always getting things right. Most of the time. Yeah, dude. That program is very pretty for entertainment, but it's just so, yeah, how do I put this? Like, irrelevant when it comes to facts. Well, I mean, if everybody's caught up with Infinity War, can I just rant about it a little bit? Because I really want to rant. Do I have a permission to rant about Infinity War? Yes, Clash of the Dinosaurs is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I like how you say least retarded. You know, there's gonna be like a retardation scale, you know, a scale soon for, you know, the freaking, what's it called? For the documentaries. Bloody hell. Okay, I'm gonna rant a little bit on Infinity War before I down this cup, and I'll continue to rant because I've got quite a few things to say about it. So, yeah, I mean there were some good scenes. I also liked the Star Lord scenes. I liked how he was interacting with Thor. That was kind of funny. I um, I really enjoyed a few other character scenes which are basically mainly with you know, at the forge especially. They also had Peter Dinklage as the gnome or dwarf or whatever they were calling them, because in Norse mythology I think they weren't supposed to be gnomes, but I'm not sure, maybe it's a different thing altogether. Excuse me. So that was cool. Some other things that were really nice. It was visually very nice and aesthetic. The battles were awesome, the fights were awesome, you know. Yeah, the hammer axe thing was really awesome with the Groot as well. It was amazing. I love that he just gave like, hey, it needs a shaft. There you go. You got a shaft. You're sorted. That was awesome. I loved it. So Thanos as a character overall, I like him, but I'm just not convinced. And this is where my main problem is going to begin, and this is where I'm going to start my rant. Like when it comes to these things, like how do you define a good story when it comes to, you know, the fight and struggle between the so-called good and evil, or if you can just label it this way, which obviously is very generalizing too much, but I don't. I would say let's, for the purpose of this simplicity, just dumb it down to that point. Yeah, I was not convinced by Thanos as a villain for one simple reason. It's just a lot of things that is happening in the logical side. He undermines the whole premise. It undermines the very need for everything that happens later in the movie to even exist. That's my point. Now to elaborate, now let's dive into it. Okay, so his problem is that, you know, humanity needs to get out because, you know, yada yada yada, they're consuming too many resources, and he's just there apparently to freaking, I don't know, fix the, you know, fix everything, you know, because if he thinks that he kills half of them, then that's just gonna, like, you know, fix everything. Good. Okay, fair enough. You want people to do that. You want people to stop consuming resources so that your planet doesn't die, so you can prevent this from ever happening, right? So what is to say that you can't come together with the Avengers, use the freaking Infinity freaking gauntlet, and basically recreate resources, like recycle whatever and make a new resource, because you cannot create it from scratch, but you can reshape the matter. It's already been shown. So why go out and kill everybody? Avengers are kind of stupid as well. Like, I'm sorry, they're just so fucking dumb. Like, not one of them has actually even proposed to try and figure out what is going on and why is he doing it. And when they did, it hasn't even occurred to a single one of their dumbass team members to actually propose to say, hey, let's try to meet on a neutral ground. Let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about this. Let's figure this out. Because when we come together to discuss things, make arguments, propose ideas, we come to solutions. Yeah, my point exactly. No solutions. No real ideas proposed on how to solve the problem. And this is what kept annoying me for the rest of the movie, basically. As soon as I knew that, okay, there is this freaking thing, I was like, wow. The guy basically, like, has all this power, and yet he chooses to kill them anyway, instead of just figuring out that he can recreate resources without having to, you know... Like, there's so much crap lying around on the streets, you know, when you have, you know, so much junk that you could just reshape into a useful resource if you have the Infinity Gauntlet. Why? We're talking about the thingamajiggy Avengers Infinity War. So if you haven't caught up, bear in mind there are spoilers. And I'm just gonna down the tea and start sculpting because I want to rant on Infinity War a little bit. I really, really been wanting to rant about this for ages. So, yeah, like, why can they not, like, you know, it's just a teammate, it's just a black tea. Why can they not just come up with that solution? It's absolutely dumb. Like, oh, seriously, if you have Infinity Gauntlet, you can fix so many things without having to kill anybody. Okay, good. Right, so yeah, then the other thing as well. Okay, let's say he decides to go ahead and kill everyone. So, Doctor Strange, we have already caught up by that point with him. We already know what he's capable of. We know that he was able to trap this other freaking being out there in a different dimension. And, you know, like, trap him in a time loop. And he was way more powerful than Thanos, okay? And Doctor Strange took him on. And technically he won that encounter because there was no other way for him to get out other than to accept his terms and whatever, right? And we know that Doctor Strange is able to do this. Why did he just give up the gauntlet to let and not let Tony Stark die so that he could then rewind it and prevent it from happening? Like, why? You have this power, you're the most powerful freaking badass there is out there, and yet they decided to downplay his power because it fits the plot. That's really what it is. It's an absolute insult to my intelligence as a viewer to basically present certain abilities to a character and only to them not let him use it, you know, for the good of his team and for the good of humanity in that instance, just so that he can basically move the plot ahead so that Thanos can have his way. Like, what the actual fuck? I'm sorry, but that's just, like, ridiculous. It's just such a bad writing. It's utterly insulting. Honestly, I hate when they do that. I mean, I don't know who they expect to watch these films. I mean, even 5-year-old kids understand that this is stupid. Okay? Anyway. Yeah, I think the writers of this film, you know, I'm gonna quote Santino Carleone. They basically went to college to get stupid. There we go. So... yeah, fuck this bullshit. Yeah, anyway, anyway, what I was gonna say as well is, okay, let's say they managed to trap him. Remember when they were holding him and when Star-Lord finds out that he killed his, you know, what's her name, this green lady, really cute one as well. Anyway, like, what the hell? Why did you not let him take off the bloody gauntlet and then punch him in the face after that? Did you have to really do it right that moment when they were about to take the gauntlet off him and then you could have punched him? Like, dude, it was freaking seconds away. Like, the protagonists basically are just so stupid. They're so dumb. I cannot stand it. Really, I was watching this. I was like freaking tie my hands up before I break the freaking screen. I was just there, like, raging. I was raging. So, yeah. In any case, the other point as well, which I like that they made it part of the script, that when Thor threw down his hammer axe and he said, yeah, you should have gone for the head. But that was kind of obvious. If I were Thor, I would have gone for the head, considering that he's proficient with it, he's good, he doesn't miss, really. He can just target it right there. Why did he strike him in the chest, knowing that the headshot would have killed him for sure? Or if the headshot doesn't kill him, obviously then, okay, fair enough, we'll just be like, yeah, fuck, whatever, guys, you're screwed. But really? Like, really? Yeah, anyway, we're gonna down this. That was my rant. Oh, dude, oh, Fallen Kingdom. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, or I'm gonna freaking, like, I've only recently recovered from my illness, and if I'm gonna start ranting about Fallen Kingdom now, my voice is gonna die. Seriously. Because I was furious the whole time. And like I said before in my previous streams and videos, I believe as well, anything after second movie in this franchise does not exist to me. It does not exist. I refuse to acknowledge its existence anymore. I'm done with that shit. I'm done. With a capital D. D to the O to the N to the E, whatever. Yes, yes. It's almost there. It's all the T's fault, it's not my fault. Ah, good. Okay, fuck it, let's go. Now here's what I've got, okay? This is what I have so far. It's just the basic body outline. And I'm kind of more or less there at this point. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to give it some fingers. We're gonna try to define the head. And then we will see how much of the detail we can do as well. Now what I want to do as well is I want to try to maybe lower the camera a little bit, because I'm not happy with how, like, you cannot really see what the whole thing, like, I want you to be able to see my table. So let me just see if I can grab something different and we can sort this out. Because I mean, it means you won't be able to see my face much, but at least you will be able to see this. Right, can you see everything okay here? No, the neck is supposed to be quite long and extended, at least based on the skeletal, so that's where I'm going off from. And yes, I guess Stegosaurus is really all that. Nah, it's just I got the lamp. Hold on a second, I'll show you. I hope it doesn't go completely crazy, but yeah, that's what I'm using. Right, so let's grab some tools and get to work. Okay, so I'm probably gonna do the head first, and then we'll do the rest of it. Yeah, Miragaya has even longer neck, I presume. I remember checking it out not too long ago, and it was quite... for interviews, I'm editing the one with Franois, the skeletal guy. He's apparently also done thing like, what's it called? The... Oh, come on, what I was gonna say? Yeah, he's participated working on a paper recently, and but he hasn't mentioned it yet because he cannot break the embargo. That's the problem. But in any case, once the paper gets published, he says that we will know it when it's out, which is what I'm hoping for. And yeah, his skeletals are really good. I use some of them for the references because they are also very consistent with the methods and results that Scott Hartman has done as well. So it kind of tells me that the guy knows what he's doing, at least. So it's a shame that he hasn't been given a chance to actually have his stuff published in scientific literature, but he said in an interview that it will happen eventually. So this is the interview I'm going to be publishing, hopefully soon. It's just going to take some time to edit. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, if it's not been published yet, I can't really say much about it. Hello, hello. Right, let's get the screen. Yeah, there we go. So I got all my screenshots and everything sorted. So just gonna be looking in between the different images, just checking out all this stuff, just to make sure that we get the... I mean, the shape of the head is more or less there already. There's not much more to do other than just adding the outline as a whole. But yeah, no, Carnotaurus is among the largest. It's contested between, I think, Rajasaurus or something else, maybe. I don't remember, to be honest, but it was not, even if it was among the largest, which I think it was, it's not the only one. It's currently kind of contested, so it's debatable due to the lack of a larger sample of the specimens. Right. Let me just see if I can find a... Yeah, I need a shot of a head. So what do you guys think about the idea of sequel for the Soilo Soy Wars story? Do you want to see that happening, or can you not care less, personally? What do you think? Well, you don't know that the... Oh, you mean you don't care? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Suppose that's the nature of today's Star Wars franchise. Most people at this point don't even care anymore. Just wondering what everybody else thinks. Because am I the only one at this point here who practically lost faith in this franchise. For the steg, probably a combination of greens and browns of sort, maybe grays as well. And of course beige. Shout out to Lindy Beige. I'll have a lot of beige on my dinosaurs anyway. That's obviously, beige is gonna be one of the colors that's gonna be present everywhere, I would imagine, on my paint jobs. Not because it's my favorite color, but because beige is it just makes sense in most of the situations. Okay. I like them both, actually. I like both of these pieces. They're quite nice. It's just I can't be bothered, obviously, paying this much money for a statue. I mean, if anything, I would rather pay a handful price maybe for a decent-sized big kit, and just paint it myself. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a hobbyist. I don't just like, things being done for me when it comes to that point. Like, I don't mind doing it for other people. I've got things done for people already, so, but Stegosaurus, yeah, sideshow, especially the one that was the original one, I think. That was the one I liked. Well, I can answer that myself, and I'm not gonna be asking paleontologists questions that are easily answered here. And I've answered these questions many times already. Like, why would you want to waste the time of the day of a professional paleontologist on, like, silly... I'm sorry, but I don't consider this to be particularly good question to use for freaking inviting people from paleontology to speak on the channel. I'm sorry, but it's just far from my priority list of asking such a thing. In any case, yeah, depends. You have to define context. Is it one Tyrannosaurus? Is it two Tyrannosaurus? Is it one trike? Are they both the same age in their prime? Are they facing each other? Is the trike being ambushed? Like, context. I think I should really play it on repeat every time I get asked similar things. That context matters. You have to always apply context. Always. Context is the most important thing. If you cannot, apply a specific context, then you cannot really predict a reasonable, defensible result. What did you say? Well, face-to-face, if you're talking about basically head-on confrontation when both are aware of one another, both basically adults in their prime, Triceratops is probably winning that fight, in my opinion. Because it's too risky for a predator to get directly confrontational with with something that can potentially kill you or hurt you really badly and prevent you from hunting in the future, so you don't starve to death eventually. Predators tend to be smarter than their prey, which means that they also have a good ability to assess, the risk of hunting. And I don't see why any dinosaur, in this case, would be an exception to that general rule, so to speak. Because that's consistent throughout every animal as far as the predators go. They will take every opportunity they can, but they also are capable to assess the risk. So in a one-on-one confrontation like that, I don't see a high chance for a T-Rex. I just don't see it. If it's an ambush, I would say that T-Rex has a better chance straight away. As long as it can keep itself away from these big, you know, horns at the front, it's gonna get the upper hand if it ambushes. Once it gets a good grip and is able to restrain a trike, tire it down, whatever, there we go, that's done. But I don't expect it to be able to stand much of a chance in a one-on-one, face-to-face. Just don't think that's gonna be a very, you know, easy fight to win, so to speak. Hold on, let me grab a different one. Yeah, that's about right. Yes, Yusuke, I agree with that as well. That's pretty much what I'm saying too. You have to be able to outsmart your prey. Most of the times you will not be able to take it down directly in a one-on-one confrontation, and that's rarely gonna be the case. Yeah, of course. T-Rex is not gonna win against a one-on-one fight against a trike if it's a face-to-face, because all it needs to do is swing its head towards whichever direction it's gonna go, and there's just no way you can really outmaneuver it, because trike is in a very good defensive phalanx position, and these horns, they can serve both as stabbing points, you know, so-called spears of the phalanx. Alternatively, if the T-Rex gets past them a little bit, it can serve as a good blunt sort of, you know, weapon to knock it aside. And there's a lot of power behind trike as well. Trikes are freaking tanks, they're huge, and they're really strong. I have not seen the Meg yet, so I am yet to watch that. It's on my list. Speckles the Tarbosaurus, yeah, I already said that before. It's an awesome bro CGI fest and crappy one at that as well, so no. I don't do well with these, unfortunately. They're not my kind of thing. If Walking with Dinosaurs 3D actually was done silently without the voiceover, I actually think it would have worked quite nicely. But that's my opinion. Yeah, dude, when you, well, it's internet, people say all sorts of stuff. So, there you go. I've seen and heard the same things million, zillion, whatever amount of times over by now, and it doesn't even surprise me in the slightest that you would encounter something like this. Just one of those things people just say, and without really putting a lot of thought into it. Hello. Right. See if that's decent enough. Okay, yeah, that looks like it's suitable. I'll probably one of the things I will do at one point or another is get myself these metal, you know, bearing balls, the small ones. So they're like beads basically. So you can use, so I can use them for making the eyes, because that way it's basically preventing me from doing extra work to make sure that I can observe the symmetry and yeah. What do I think of flat earthers? If I saw one, if I knew there is one, I would just say talk to the hand and go away. I would not even engage. That's what I think about them. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, 12 meters is like 40 or 41 feet long or something. Dude, why are we even talking about this? What do you think? Like, what do you honestly think? You've been on this channel long enough. You know more or less how I am, and how I, you know, test ideas and etc. Do you honestly think I would ever say, yes, I support evolution deniers? No, I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying to get you to think a little bit before you ask something. Because we're talking paleontology, a guy who likes dinosaurs, a guy who basically tries to, you know, stick to science. Do you think it's not against the science to deny evolution? And do you think I would be supportive of that? Hell no. Never. Hello, 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 hello. I would say my personal idea is that the most reasonable value for mass of T-Rex, to make it rather conservative, is in range of 7 to 8 tons, with 9 being the top and 7 being the bottom, so I would say 8 tons. Because that's what the sort of data seems to be showing us. They even out at about this much, I think. So 7 or 8 tons is pretty enough, I would say. 9 is kind of hitting a little bit the top end, so I don't even stick with a 9 tons value much. I prefer to use a bit more conservative value, but it depends, of course, on the, again, context. Right, we need more tools. We need more tools. Not this one. This one. Rubber tip tools are really good, by the way. Very comfortable to use. Yeah, well, you could do some herbivore versus herbivore, but it kind of, you know, strips the point, because herbivores do fight each other, but, you know, when they compete over mating, you know, during ruts and stuff like that, because, you know, stags, for example, they fight each other all the time in the season, but, you know, who would win a fight? A stag won a fight with another stag, or you know what I mean, like, it's one of those kind of things. Don't forget that, well, yeah, I suppose you could with that value, because Siu is like among the top size, but there are other specimens that are slightly shorter, but they are just as robust as Siu, so there's no reason why they would not be about the same in mass if you were to conduct a proper analysis on their skeletals reconstructions. Oh my goodness. Guys, sorry, hang on, I'm gonna grab some water. I'll bring the bottle here, sorry, just a second. Okay, there we go. Lovely. Oh my goodness, hold on a second. Let me just scroll back a little bit. Hey Mike, how's it going? Well, because Stegosaurus is the one that's more well known, I guess. It's not a reason not to make a Kentrosaurus in the future, but it's also gonna be... I'm back. It's freaking unbelievable sometimes, the sort of idiocracy. I mean, it's not idiocracy because obviously it needs to cool down so it doesn't completely freaking die, but I just can't believe it sometimes. Okay, I'm back. Bloody hell. Right, okay, let me catch up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm probably gonna have to open the windows so the phone stops overheating because I don't understand what's going on with it. It's really weird. Seriously, this freaking... That's one of the reasons why I hate doing things from a phone, because it always causes these kind of stupid issues. Yeah, I'm using iPhone 7. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, it should be back to normal now, hopefully. So let's carry on. No, it's just because these programs, you know, when you do live streaming and things like that, they tend to heat up the phone. It just heats up. And eventually, after a while, they just start doing it worse and worse. It's just how they are built. So there's no going around from it, because to be honest, even switching to Android, I don't even know if I want to, because how do I know that that's not going to give me other problems that I'm not going to be able to manage? So... Nationality or ethnic origin? What exactly do you mean? Nationality is basically citizenship, and ethnic origin is ethnic origin. So do you mean my ethnicity? Right, let's grab some more of the tools, because we need some more tools. Yeah, there we go. And we need not that. Yeah, it should be okay. Ethnic origin, I am Armenian. Right. Now let's get some of those stamps. Oh god, there's so much stuff. Yes, I have a light bulb in my head. I tried watching Attack on a Titan, watched a couple seasons, I think. I don't even remember if I watched all the way to season 2, but I just really got fed up with it. I just couldn't stomach it for too long. It was just too, I don't know, like, it just really, characters just started really annoying me, to be honest. And I just tossed that shit away. It was kind of nice in the beginning. I really enjoyed it at first, and then it just started getting to the point where it was just really annoying me. Okay, yeah, that seems like a... Oh, drop the tool. Right, I think maybe it's a good idea to give it a bit more outline. Right, let me just see if I can... I mean, it looks like this is how I want to do it. I'm just checking with the skeletal to see if I'm happy with... Yeah, I'm okay with the mass, I'm happy with it. So, I'm actually thinking that I need to add more here. Yeah, there we go. That's the muscle I was trying to implement. Yeah, take care. Thanks for coming. I don't know, why is the sky blue? Why, I don't know, why sugar tastes sweet? Why do we have belly buttons? Why do we, I don't know, why are we born with specific skin colors? Why do we fart? It's the same thing as asking why do elephants, I don't know, grow so big? I don't know, man. It's just, it is what it is. Just makes, I guess, a bit more sense for them to have these kind of necks, because it might be just easier for them to eat whatever it is that they're eating. Could be that. That's just my idea, I guess. Don't really know what else to say, to be honest, because it's all down to the function and depending on what sort of vegetation was growing in that, you know. Can we please never mention this heresy called Spinosaurus or anybody with any dinosaur with freaking whiskers? Seriously. Like, this is one of the stupidest and worst things I've ever heard. I'm sorry, but don't ever bring this here. Well, Google why do men go bald, dude? Why are you asking this question here? I don't mind, to be honest, but it's just like, can people sometimes really try to process something before they put it out on a table? Like, why do men go bald? Do research, dude, and you'll find out. Many reasons: genetics, testosterone, other shit. Whatever. Many reasons why this happens. Well, good to hear, because seriously, when last time when somebody mentioned it, I was trying to pretend really hard that I didn't hear it or didn't see that. This time I just couldn't ignore it anymore. Like, seriously, let's not make paleo community even uglier than it can already be sometimes. We already have people who do that anyway. We already have people who are making things really bad and are not producing anything particularly nice and meaningful regardless, while claiming that they are using science. So let's not really go into that route. Oh my goodness. Right. There is no evidence of anything other than several types of mammals or any other specific types of animals maybe that I'm missing out that would have had whiskers. If you don't have the evidence for it and there's no reasonable suggestion to even, you know, make any comparisons, why would you even think of this? That's what I'm basically saying. It's how do you make the argument? How do you come to the idea and conclusion? Doesn't really work like that. Right, okay, dude, if you're gonna ask me this kind of stuff again, I'm gonna ban you from the channel. Seriously, stop it. Google it for your own reference if you really need to know, but stop bringing up things that are irrelevant to this. Do your own damn research. I'm tired of people asking me stupid questions like that. Seriously, this is what pisses me off sometimes. If you came in here to troll, I'm gonna ban you. Okay? Yes, probably. Carrion, perhaps. That's possible, I guess. I don't know if we have the evidence for it, but I'm pretty sure it was possible. But again, it's just what I think. I think it was possible. I don't see any reason why not. In the same way how like pigs, for example, or boars, they sometimes consume meat. to increase variety of the nutrients. Yeah, there we go. Many herbivore animals today. No, I ain't mad, I'm just kind of pointing out the obvious things that should be, well, obvious. If you think that was bad, you haven't seen me mad, dude. You really haven't seen anything if you think that was me going mad. Right, okay, I think I'm quite happy with... No, not yet. Not happy yet. Few more things, and then I'm gonna start doing some detailing before I move on to... Because I want to do the detailing on the bottom first, so that then I can put it down, and then afterwards I can basically... So that I don't have to pick it up, because if I do detailing here and leave it for later, then once I pick it up, it's gonna ruin everything. So I don't want that to happen. So what I want to do is I want to do the bottom first, and when I do that, I'll put it down like so, and then we will do that. Stego tail is right here. Because if I were to make the whole thing, like I will eventually when the kit is done, like so, well, obviously pose is gonna be slightly different, but because this is not fixed yet. It's because I cannot fit it in my oven. Yeah, I don't play the Isle anymore. Not, you know, not right now anyway. For now I'm done with this game. Yes, material. Metal thing is called wire. Or you mean what it's made of? If you mean what it's made of, it's aluminium. I don't know. I don't even know if it was able to stand up on its rear legs, to be honest, because all the weight balance is going forward in here. So that means there's going to be a lot of pressure on these legs, pushing it down. Don't think that was really possible. It could, maybe one of the ways to do it is if the tree was particularly bendy, maybe just to kind of push it down slowly and then just kind of break it. That might be a way to do it. Sometimes it's possible. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take a lot to kind of figure that one out for them. I mean, if they need food, they will find whatever means to do it, so. And Stego is very front heavy, so I don't see how standing up on a rear leg is going to really be a possibility without it having any negative repercussions. So I would personally expect the answer to be no, but that's my prediction. If it gets ever proven otherwise, then well, then it means they work. So nothing wrong with that either, I guess. Depends. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see how it's physically possible. Well, don't forget, babies may have a different constitution. It's not the same kind of mass. You're dealing with a lot more mass here than you are dealing with a baby that's not even fully developed yet when it comes to mass. Oh, there was something suggested about the mating. I'm trying to remember, like it was either done like with one kind of basically sitting or laying down, turning sideways, and the other one just kind of pretty much mounting it from the side kind of thing, but I'm not actually sure. It's a very tricky and interesting question, but that's what has been suggested. But I'd say it's reasonable because the top is just not going to be comfortable. Yep, basically what I said. The female would probably just lay down. Oops. Right. Yeah, we're probably gonna need a bit more on the throat, and after that we can start doing some more detailing. What time is it? Yeah, we are okay. No, this is 1/10. Stegosaurus Stenops is about 6 meters long, and this piece altogether is gonna be exactly the 1/10 scale. So when it's fully built, it will be about this size. That's 60 centimeters roughly, or 24 inches. Yep. 6 meters, 6.5 meters, roughly. Right, okay. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with this for now, so let's start doing some more detailing. We'll probably start from the... Oh, I forgot. The feet, and that needs to be done as well. Now let's take a look. Yeah, Ungulatus was bigger, of course. Ungulatus was quite a big animal. Can you give more context? What do you mean, when was it lumped into Stenops? Is there a paper on it? Is there a publication? Like, when did that happen? Oh, yeah, I'm not participating into that. I was going to, but I'm not going to. I just don't want to even. I'm not gonna comment anything. I'm just not gonna participate in that. There's just so much wrong about certain things there that I just really just don't want to be part of it. Yeah. No, I was going to originally. I actually had plans for it, but I changed my mind. I decided not to. Right. Also, I think with Stegosaurus, it had at the front it only had 2 claws, and the other digits didn't have any claws, right? To my understanding, or so it seems, at least, based on my humble observations. I'm just looking at the, trying to find a bit better close-up of a skeletal for the Stenops, because I want to see how many. It's 4 digits at the front, right? Pretty sure it's 4, or is it 5? I can't quite understand what it shows in the picture, because I have a picture on my phone, but yeah. Yeah, I would have thought it's 5, right? I mean, it's just weird. Why? I don't even know why I thought it was 4. Maybe it's because of the way the picture is, but last time I was in the museum, I think it was 5. Yeah, it must have been 5. Look at the scientific publications and what they're saying. It doesn't matter what people say, what matters is what science says. And science is represented in published material in scientific literature, not by what people are saying. What people are saying is just their own conclusions and opinions, which may or may not be true, but that's not really where you draw the conclusions from. Yeah, that's another good point. Like, would they be visible? That's another interesting thing to kind of look at. I know for a fact they shouldn't. There should be only 2 claws. I'm pretty sure that that's what it shows. That's probably one of the things I think that the sideshow got wrong. They've got all the digits with the claws, while they shouldn't be all clawed. They should only have 2 claws. Yeah, if the paper has not been very conclusive in its observations, then this is kind of more of a stalemate at this point, because a lot of times papers tend to have this thing that they propose an idea, but then they just kind of say, oh yeah, but like more whatever is needed. And that's the part that usually gets left out very frequently by people who are reading them. They think that this is a conclusive thing, but it's not always. It just means that it introduces a different view, and at this point you should be... Yeah, go ahead. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. I know you're probably kidding, but I bet you didn't expect me to say okay. I mean, to you shooting yourself in the foot or whatever. Hey, dude, if you want to do it, I'm not going to be talking you out of it, right? So, whatever. Just tell me how it was next time you come around if you're still alive. Whatever. Right. But in all seriousness, though, I don't know, I don't remember if the paper was actually conclusive. Other dinosaurs, well, I've got the Protoceratops and versus Velociraptor. That's basically now waiting to get molded. I just need to go and grab some silicone soon. And once I get that done, I will mold it and cast it as well. So that's gonna be ready hopefully soon. And obviously, well, when I finish Stegosaurus, then I've got the American lion, also just need a few details to be added there. I've got the Thalassadromius versus Santana Raptor that I'm also currently working on. And once I finish these ones, I think I will either do a ceratopsid or I might do a large theropod. And some of the ceratopsids and theropods are actually going to be done in such a way, because obviously there are some negligible differences in morphology between some of them, that you will be able to build it on a same torso, but just replace maybe a couple limbs just to kind of give some variation, and obviously replace the heads to represent a different genus, where as far as the sizes go, if they're like similarly sized and etc. So I'm kind of going with that. No spamming, please. No, like, type F and then everybody's gonna be typing F, F, F. Guys, let's not do this here, please. Come on, let's be a bit more, I don't know, mature here. I want to actually read what people are saying. I don't want to be reading Fs here. Right, if I see anybody typing F, I'm gonna freaking, like, start banning shit. Okay, warning now. Any more Fs, I'm gonna be banning. This is a warning. Seriously, this is a warning. No spamming, please. No, I haven't really been keeping up with that, so really haven't been keeping up. So I don't know, like, there was nothing really about that project that really interested me. That's me, and it's supposed to be spelled like this. That's how my name is supposed to be spelled properly. I'll need to change it on Facebook as well, because for some reason it doesn't let me do it. I'll need to change it, because that's not the right way to spell it. It should be with an E at the end. In European, anyway, in Latin. It's because in my it's pronounced Arsene with an stress there. Yeah, the name is actually Greek, to my recollection, and it does have something in common with, lighting things on fire, or basically when they say arsonist, that's somebody who basically lights things up. And my name is actually partially meaning that. That's basically what it is. Thanks for the compliments there, Hood Angel, and really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Let me just fix this up a bit more. Well, how would Ceratosaurus be semi-aquatic? I don't get it. Like, how is that even in any remotely possible? Doesn't make sense to me. Hello, hello. Not much to comment. It's just another theropod, I guess, but I don't really know all that much about it. I don't think there was anything particularly prominent about it to kind of really, give it a whole lot of attention. Right, hold on a sec. Let me just try and... Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. It should be 5 digits at the front, if I'm correct. Hold on a second, actually. Yeah. Yeah, 5. Right. I am using Hartman's skeletal, and I'm using the skeleton in the London, the specimen Sophie. Give or take, basically. Why? It's a camera as well, it's not off, it's 100% there. It's perfectly to scale. It's like 31 centimeters here. And it's 25 here, so that's pretty much when you straighten it out, if you do it like a proper extended measurement, it's true to scale. It's just because of the camera a little bit as well. So if you look at it from a distance. Yeah, you already said that, and I'm saying that I'm doing it based on that specimen. I mean, do we have any evidence of any other Stegosaurus Stenops being much bigger? Because a lot of times they reach their full size. And also, just because it was younger doesn't mean it had to grow much bigger. They frequently, go up to that size. And then they would just develop more mature features, but they don't grow much in size. That's basically a common thing you see anywhere in animals. So, no, don't apologize. I'm just pointing out. It's not a problem. No, there isn't really much more to go, to be honest, when it comes to thickness here. I mean, I might add a little bit more mass, but their bottom parts, at least, they were not that thick. The top parts maybe a little bit more, but I don't think the bottom is particularly thick. Yeah, this one here, I'm probably gonna add more mass to it, because it does strike me as being a bit skinny too. So I'm just gonna do a bit more at the front here and a bit more roundness at the back as well. So where is it? But yeah, the camera perspective on my phone is absolutely rubbish, so don't get put off by distortion. It's a really, it distorts the perspective a lot, so a lot of times you will find that it looks on the camera like as if it's not meant to look that way, but in real life it's nowhere near like this. The proportions are all there. I mean, at least I checked it, so it seems very unlikely that I would have fucked it up that badly. Yes, I have, and I have a few things to say about that too. Not a lot, but there is just one major problem that makes this highly underwhelming, and where I think they messed up. But other than that, I like the film, and I like Tom Hardy as Venom as well. But I do believe that they could have they should not have done it like that. Venom is supposed to be tied to Spider-Man, and a lot of his background is based a lot on hating Spider-Man. And the fact that they didn't do it that way, it kind of makes me think that it completely downgraded his character. So it would have been a lot better if they just stuck to that original canon rather than trying to do something of their own. That's one of the things I hate about Hollywood, is when they try to take a story and they completely rewrite it and shoehorn some idiocracy into it, which kind of ruins it. Okay, yeah, that's looking better actually from this side. If I make hips more boxy, it's gonna be too shrink wrapped. It's not supposed to be shrink wrapped, remember? Shrink wrapping is old school and we're not doing that no more. And not because it's not trendy, but because it's wrong. I don't know, I mean, each to their own, I guess. I liked him as Bane. I liked him as Venom, personally. I generally like him as an actor. So, I guess I don't have a problem with it, with him playing Venom. My problem was the decision they made about not having, Venom being directly influenced by, Spider-Man, which he, well, should have been and was in the canon. Because Venom was basically there, pretty much to my recollection at least, trying to take revenge on Spider-Man. Because he hated him. I don't remember everything from the comics, because I haven't really paid all that much attention to it. I researched it a little bit just to get some background back in the days, but I do recall that the original trilogy of Spider-Man got it right. The one with Tobey Maguire, basically. When it comes to Venom, at least they got the story right, but I just didn't really like the actor who was playing him at that time. He just wasn't something I was digging. He was a bit annoying. Alright, and some more here. Alright, okay, so we've got some more mass here. I've done this a little bit, so now let's do this side as well. Because this one is kind of stretches out a little bit, so we don't want to make it too like that, because it's kind of slightly forward. Is it working now? Tell me. Right. So yeah, let's wait for some responses first. Okay, good. So yeah, I was gonna say that yes, exactly. It was originally supposed to bond with Peter Parker, and then when Peter basically rejected it, it found Eddie Brock, who was also angry at Peter, and well, that's how they basically came together, and his whole existence of this character was all about trying to freaking kill Spider-Man. or whatever. So I don't understand why they dropped that part. That was bad decision in my opinion for the character development. I don't know. Maybe they might not even been that different, to be honest. At most, maybe different color of plates, but don't know. I always try to think of what sort of environment they were living in and just stick with that. And as for male and female, if they had any colors, as far as that goes, differences that is, I would probably just give the plates a bit more variation and patterns to the males and something a bit more plain and dull to the females, which is usually the default and general rule in the animal kingdom, most of the times at least. Oh, sorry, went off the camera there a little bit. I don't care what SJWs would call me. They can call me all sorts of things they like. They can call me a cunt and I'll be the cunt they love to hate. I don't care. They've been overusing these terms out there so much that at this point, a lot of things they just throw around right now, they lost all meaning anyway. So if I hear somebody being called or accused of being racist, sexist, bigot, and whatever the standard, I no longer even take it seriously at this point. Unless I obviously look at it and check it, and there is real kind of ground to make a claim, then yeah, sure, but yeah, you get the point. But anyway, let's not get into that. I don't want to get into the details of this subject here. That's not what this place is about. No, that's not how it is. You have to look at the combination. Well, yeah, I understand that, Hood Angel, but like I said, let's not discuss it here. This is not the place for this kind of conversation. I agree with I know where you're going with it, and I am fully in agreement. So, but let's not dwell down this route. Not here anyway. Right, so no, I mean, speaking of environments, not like this, more like, say, for example, if you had forest, you have a combination of green, brown, beige, so you would probably be looking at these kind of colors, maybe grays, maybe blacks as well, like all those kind of combinations. It depends, basically, of course, what it was for. Because, see, Stegosaurus as well, don't forget, it didn't exactly need to hide from predators, to my understanding. Like, it was big enough and strong enough probably to take care of itself. I don't expect it to be a wimp, although I don't see how an Allosaurus, for example, would not be able to simply just bite its neck down and kill it that way. But then again, it's not particularly in the category that would be threatened by a big predator like Allosaurus or Torvosaurus, for example. Oh, Netflix Marvel TV series. Okay, here are the ones I know for sure that I'm definitely hoping that I will see more of. I want to see more of Punisher. Punisher is dope. Punisher is dope. I love it. I love the actor. I love everything about that show. My favorite of all of them. Second favorite probably would be contested between, I don't know. I don't even, no, I'm not contested, no. I would probably say Daredevil. And third one I would give to Jessica Jones, but I wouldn't say that it was really all that amazing. Season 1 Jessica Jones was amazing, I loved it. I watched the second one and I didn't really like it very much at all. It kind of went downhill, and Daredevil was kind of interesting, but they also, later seasons, not really. But yeah, I would just say basically The Punisher. Yeah, also predators would need to have a good sort of blend with the environment as well, because they're hunting. It serves the purpose. A lot of times, especially given that there may have been that some of the dinosaurs may not have had particularly great vision, in contrast to the predators that were hunting them perhaps, you could actually reasonably make a prediction that they would rely on environment a lot to hunt. So by the time the prey notices that the predator's already coming, and which direction it's coming from, it's almost too late. So, there we go. Yeah, not necessarily brown. I would say a combination again. Browns, greens, you know. I don't imagine there to be a lot of variation, because Hell Creek was also, you know, it had a variety of environments. Also, based on seasons, you never know. Maybe they could shed their skin and change the colors based on seasons. We don't know that, but it's possible. I'm not saying it happened, but I'm saying it's just a suggestion. I don't know, dude, what that means. I'm not even gonna answer that. Vomit color. I don't even know what the hell that means. And no, I'm not gonna be looking it up. I said greens and browns and beige, so take whatever you want from that. If that's a vomit color to you, or if that's what you're vomiting, be my guest. I have nothing really to comment on that, I'm afraid. Yeah, well, I guess, whatever. Right. Yeah, I haven't seen the season 3 or at least maybe I have, but I don't remember it very much. I remember that I liked it initially, and I think season 2 I liked as well when they introduced Electra. I think season 3 was the one I didn't like very much. I don't remember, to be honest. That's the whole point. It was kind of alright, but it wasn't particularly memorable to me. It was kind of cool, but again, not amazing enough to me to remember it. Punisher was amazing, and I loved it, and I'm still really, you know, enjoying it from time to time when I revisit it. Like, I would definitely wanna revisit it again at one point or another. Punisher was amazing. It depends. I don't think that the whole idea of dromaeosaurids being able to climb is particularly plausible. I'm not really buying that idea, personally. I can only guess where you may have gotten that from, but I don't think that's really something reasonable to suggest. Don't see how they were particularly built for a proper climb, both in their mass and you know, constitution. It's not like they were built like cats to do the climbing. And they were not as maneuverable, to my understanding, to climb, especially the big dromaeosaurids. Well, Microraptor is small, so yeah, probably it was. I don't know. Also, it depends on the layout of the vegetation. A lot of times you don't have to directly climb up the trees, trunk. You just have to find a good steep angle on another nearby tree, maybe. If some of them were leaning down specific angle, they could just go from there. That's possible. But I don't expect large dromaeosaurids in particular to be able to make a proper climb. But that's my opinion. Again, don't take my word for it. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Well, I guess, like I said, each to their own. I personally loved The Punisher. Some people probably may not have liked it, and that's perfectly fine. Have nothing against that. I personally think it was one of the best things they've done to date, from what I've seen at least. Because I've seen the Iron Fist, I didn't like. Oh, I quite liked Luke Cage actually. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I would say that one is definitely a tie between Luke Cage and Daredevil, but The Punisher is still number one for me. One of the arguments, yeah. That's not an argument. Whoever you quoted there and what you quoted, that's not an argument. I mean, if we were not to take into account the blatant, willful ignorance of the fossil record evidence, if we were to just judge by simply saying so, I can already tell you that what they said there is not an argument. I'll be honest, I haven't been playing with Jurassic World Evolution at all lately. I've almost given up at this point on this game because just got sick of it right now. So, don't know. I mean, whatever. I'll see what happens when it hits the shelf and see what it offers, but generally, don't care. Might eventually get back to it, but, they kind of failed to deliver what I wanted from the get-go and thereafter so far, and that kind of gave me enough time to completely, lose my interest in the game at this point. Walking with monsters, it was alright, it wasn't bad. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the animals that are featured in it. Like, I'm not particularly great at understanding which ones of them truly lived in the same periods, etc., etc. But it was not bad, actually. But I still think that Walking with Beasts was cooler. I personally prefer that out of them all. Still. Still my favorite. Right, we're gonna need some, these tools to take away some of the material. Yeah, probably this one. Yeah, When Dinosaurs Roamed America was a nice documentary show overall, but of course it makes some claims that are a bit unsolicited in my opinion, like just produces them out of thin air. So just like a lot of other documentaries do, like a lot of it wasn't really factual. While it was presenting it as fact, but a lot of the information that they claimed to be all factual, well, wasn't actually factual. And that's one of the things why I hate about documentaries, because they frequently don't distinguish it and they misinform the public who are watching it. And I don't like that. I can't see much. I have to flip it. No, I know it's old. I never said any. I'm just judging it by the standards. And even back then, when it was made, there was still no evidence to support what they were claiming. So it doesn't. I don't really see how that's actually even an argument. Yeah, it's old, obviously, but a lot of things that, well, a number of things, not a lot, but a number of things that they've presented were not factual. That's what I'm saying. There was never anything factual to support some of the claims that they were making. That's why I said that. Even at the time when it was made, there are still things that they used and presented as if it was a fact, while in actual fact it wasn't. From Eofauna, I don't know. I mean, they're quite good, of course, at making their stuff. I gotta give them that. But since I haven't bought any figures for a long time, I don't even know what I would want, because everything that I want, I pretty much intend to make myself. So, I mean, why buy something from someone if you can make it yourself however you want? But if I were to really delve into it, I mean, of course I want to see how they would make a T-Rex. Of course I'd love to see how they would make a Triceratops. Maybe something else, I don't know. Maybe a Deinonychus would be interesting to see. Ankylosaurus or any other ankylosaurid of some sort would be nice. Because they've got the mammoth. Maybe a Paraceratherium. A couple of big cats, perhaps. I don't think you can predict the mass from Zhucheng Remember, it's only known from partial skull material, which makes it basically similar size to Tarbosaurus batar, but we don't actually know the skeletal morphology, whether it was more heavily built than a Tarbosaurus or the same, or if it was lighter built. So, yeah. 6 tons probably is quite a lot anyway. I think it was less than that if we were to base it on Tarbosaurus. Right, and here. Oh my goodness, it gets a bit tiring sometimes, to be honest, when you have to flip it multiple times. I sure look forward to seeing it finished, though. That would be interesting, especially when I get to cast it and then paint it. Definitely look forward of making this into a kit. I'm gonna take away some of those. Why do you want to describe my experiences from school? How is that relevant here? I mean, I've had some bad ones, but got over it, I guess. Can't really say I had really bad ones, to be honest. It wasn't really anything major. I mean, if there is something that I could consider bad, was that, you know, getting into specific fights, but that was not really at school, it was outside of school. And also, I was growing up in the 90s of Russia. So, yeah, at that time, let's just say people were only using specific methods to solve problems, which is not something that I approve of by today's standards, and it's not something I would want to do. But back in the days, that was kind of granted at that point. Like, everybody was doing it because there was just no other way. That's all I can say. But I mean, it's not really school related. It was just at the same time when I was going to school in that period, but don't even remember. No, I was born in Russia, actually. Because you asked me, I believe somebody, even yourself, you asked me what my ethnicity was. I said what my ethnicity was, but I never said where I was from. As in, like, where I was born and grew up. And I grew up in south of Russia. Right, okay, a bit more. I think we're gonna be ready to start doing some detailing on this. So what's the fun of engaging in these conversations if all the answers you're getting are exactly the same? Why would you want to waste time of your day knowing that, or at least expecting in 90% of the times that nobody's gonna even give you an actual argument? Because you do know that's not an argument, right? So you gotta believe. Science is a religion too. Not an argument. Not an argument. Right, okay, dokie. So now we're gonna have to. Well, then find something better to do. What do you mean you don't have better to do? It's not an excuse, mate. Find something better to do. If you don't, find it. Find a reason to do something that's actually meaningful and productive for yourself, at least. Worry about others later. Do something better for yourself. Engaging in pointless arguments, it's not going to really be anything but counterproductive, both, well, to yourself mainly. Because you're wasting your time and breath on people and arguments that are not even worth it. They're not giving you anything. You're not benefiting anything from it. So, I'm just pointing out. Did anything? I don't know. Don't remember. I'd have to go back in the chat. If there was something I would have seen that I felt wrong, well, it depends. What do you mean wrong? Right. Probably something like that. Oh, these fingers. Yeah, I'll turn it around for now because I don't want it to be staring in your face with its butt, which doesn't have a tail. Take care, Brent. Take care. Thanks for coming. Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying that the very idea of it, of somebody even suggesting the remote possibility of it, is, well, silly, to make it kind of on point but polite. It's not that it's wrong. I mean wrong as in like you didn't say anything wrong by that. My point is that the very idea of it is just, well, silly. That was my point. I mean, if there's gonna be at any point any evidence for them having them for whatever stupid reason if they would at all, then fine, fair enough. But you know, There is no evidence to suggest that dinosaurs had them, and none of their closest relatives also have these kind of structures, with maybe a few exceptions if I can't think of any straight from the head. But then again, single individuals do not dictate the rules. They are only the exception, not the rule itself. More butt shots. I don't personally think that spinal... Oh, sorry, plane. Just a second. Right. I don't think personally that it was able to sprint like that. That's my opinion. I don't think that dinos built in this way would actually be able to sprint properly. Just doesn't strike me as something possible, although I'm not an expert on physics behind their locomotion. This is a good question perhaps to actually ask Dr. Thomas Holtz, because he's very good at understanding the physics of dinosaurs. It's part of his main thing, really, that he specializes in. At least his colleagues that I spoke to, they all agree that he's one of the best people to talk to when it comes to understanding the physics. Sorry, what? I mean, we would probably... I'm just trying to think really here. Yeah, maybe John Hutchinson as well would be worth to at least taking a look at one point, or maybe even asking him if I can get in touch with him. All right, bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Right. Yes and yes, okay. This probably would be done. Well, the thing is, most of the fights, quote unquote, would not be as cinematic as you would expect. Because most people, when they ask these questions, they only filter it through whatever they see in Hollywood or whatever other motion picture. I can almost assure you they were not nearly as cinematic as that. Sometimes maybe they were. I don't deny the possibility that some of them may have been quite spectacular, but it's very unlikely that they were like that and that they would be always to the death unless it involves a prey animal being ambushed by a predator and being killed as a process of hunting. Okay, just trying to think. Okay, so let's do the rear part here. Okay, this is gonna look a bit weird, but I'm grabbing its butt. Well, not really, actually. Not anymore. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Okay. here and this one here. Right. All right. Well, it's okay to disagree, but if you find somebody who is genuinely insulting you, like just for no reason and doesn't make any arguments, that maybe it's not the problem about the the discussion. The problem is the fact that the other person is just not making a good argument. That doesn't mean it's you shouldn't try to converse about these topics. It's just important to also do your own research and kind of give it more thought before you even bring it up, because a lot of times you will more than likely find the answers by simply moving those butt cheeks a little bit. Just saying. But it is true, though, that many people out there don't know how to make a good argument and they throw insults. And I don't think I have to go very far to kind of look in the direction of who exactly could be falling into that category. But I'm not going to be calling any names here. There's a lot of names, though, out there. I can just say that. Oh, lots of names, lots of names. Like I said, lots of names, lots of names. But I ain't gonna be pointing anything right now. I'm not here to criticize or discuss, people's choices or viewpoints. I'm here to sculpt and talk to you about things that are truly meaningful. People who I have in mind that I just kind of hint on, I just say there's nothing particularly productive to gain out of interactions with them or discussing what they're doing. It's already been discussed millions and zillions of times already, and there's nothing new to it. It's all the same thing, just done differently, pretty much. But it's all the same song. I agree with the fact that the whole idea was just stupid, but no, I don't really draw. I'm more of a sculptor. It's just what I prefer at the moment, because obviously I would need to revise my skills on drawing later. But at the moment I really don't have the time and energy to kind of invest into another discipline, because I'm already, like, you know, doing the channel, I'm doing this, I'm doing, as in like sculpting, I'm collecting and building, you know, Warhammer 40,000 and miniature games and stuff like that. I also want to start a collection of medieval and historical weapons as well, and you know, stuff like this. So that's already quite a lot of things to cover for me, and all of these things, they also obviously they cost money, and they are time consuming, and there's only so much you can fit within your schedule. Right, let's get some more. Yeah, it's well, it's nowhere near to be finished, obviously, because it needs a lot of detailing done, because it's just outlining the shape at the moment, to make sure that I get things in place before I start giving it the detail. Because once I put the detail and then it turns out that I've done a lot of things or whatever wrong, it's gonna be a bit of a bummer to try and go back and redo it again. And it's quite a bit off-putting, I can tell you that. It's just... Well, I don't know, man. Why drawing? Why sculpting? Why go fishing? Why, I don't know. Why go play golf? It's all the same thing. No, it's just, it's not something you can just explain. It just appeals to me. I find it fascinating. I like history. I like military history of, specifically of European countries, Western Europe, and Eastern Europe as well. I mean, generally, like medieval periods and all of that, classical age, ancient, you know, times, Roman history, Greek history, all of these things, you know, just all of this stuff. And obviously the Middle Ages of like Europe, like Germany, France, England, you know, like War of the Roses, Hussite Rebellion, 100 Years War. There was more stuff as well. There were like... I unfortunately don't know a whole lot about Chinese history, I'm afraid. I will need to catch up with it. And I'm afraid I don't know a whole lot about Japanese either. Like, aside from only basic few things, but not much, especially not a lot in terms of names. Well, yeah, exactly. That's my point as well. Like, it's really hard to just pinpoint why you like certain things. You just like it. It's just how it is. You just get attracted to certain things. Some people get attracted to something, other people don't find it interesting, and that's perfectly fine. It's just how it works. That's one of the reasons why we're different, I guess. I mean, it's just the same thing as, well, how I ended up liking dinosaurs. It just kind of clicked with me, and it's been my thing ever since. Right, just want to make sure that I get these things in place, and then we will start do the bottom area. for the scales. Also interesting feature that is being noted on the Stegosaurus is the slight increase of the density of armor in this bottom neck area, which I think is quite nice and functional and interesting. Let me just see if I can... I'm just trying to kind of really play around with it a bit more, because I don't want to go overboard with it, but I don't want to underplay it either. That makes sense. But yeah, we will add a bit more on the hind legs, don't worry. I'm still working on it. I'm just kind of going back and forth, making sure that I... okay, this might need a bit more roundness, because this is like a slightly folded muscle, so it would be a bit more round here. It's not stretched, so... okay. Maybe a bit more here, actually, come to think of it. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's, as a whole, as an animal, it's a bit weird in its own right. It's just because we are so used to it being everywhere and stuff. It's kind of... don't know. Don't care, to be honest. If it's truly invalid, then I guess it's invalid. Who cares? Right, let's see if this is kind of getting a bit... yeah, that's kind of where I want to go with this. Okay, and more. Nope, I haven't heard about that one actually. Don't have any clue. I mean, to be honest, I only haven't really been keeping up with the sauropod news. I was mostly busy with other things, unfortunately, so lately, because just at the time when a lot of new papers hit the shelves, I was actually not keeping up with it very much, but I'm gonna be catching up hopefully soon. And yeah, by the way, don't worry about it. I mean, if it has already been asked, I'll just refer you, you know, saying like whatever, scroll up a little bit, or just like rewatch the stream when it comes up on a channel. So no problem. Sometimes you simply don't have time to do certain things. You just, like I said, you can only fit this much into the schedule, and like there are many other aspects that are important in life other than just keeping up with paleontology news. As much as I like it, there are other things that need to be done in between. Just because I am here mostly talking about dinosaurs and paleontology doesn't mean that there isn't a whole lot of other things that I have to do in between. So there's that. And I'm pretty sure that applies to many of you as well. Right, let's have another look at this. Yeah, there we go. Well, it's weird, let's just say this. It's weird without the plates. Because, I mean, obviously I still have to go through certain layer of work before I actually put the plates on. Because then, once I start putting the plates on, this is it, like there's gonna be almost no way to go back to redo things. Or, well, I mean, there will be a way, but it's just gonna be too tricky and difficult to do it. So I'd rather get all the basic things done and out of the way right now before I get to the point of doing the details, which also will include plates. There, see, that's a lot more massive now. Now let's do this one here. Just maybe give a bit more. I'm just trying to think what I need. Right, first of all I want to do this a little bit because the leg is a bit kind of spreading out too much. Shouldn't be. Like so. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Yep. It's right here. Well, it can't stare at you straight because it doesn't have a binocular vision, so there it is. Staring at you right there. I'm just gonna make sure that we, I mean, I'm generally quite happy with the thickness of both rear limbs. I'm just trying to think if any more should be added to it. I think we're pretty much done on that part, so it's probably time to start adding details. Front ones, I would say they are pretty much the way they are now. There's no reason to make them any thicker. It's the rear ones that are thicker, so see this side as well. Just wanna right. Right, okay. A little bit here, maybe. Just a little bit. Maybe like so. Well, scaly skin, there is evidence for it. There's plenty of different stegosaurid skins out there. if you watched the recent interview material that I have published on my channel, there is there is a discussion about the Stegosaurus skin diagram that Josh has done, and yeah, there's tons of it. Well, I mean, quite good amount, I would say, substantial. So yeah, scaly skin. And well, I'm personally quite happy with how it's turned out. I think this is a good time now to start sculpting the details, and if anything, just revisit some of the stuff again, but at this point I'm quite alright with everything else. I think it's pretty solid. Right? Hold on a second, let me just double check again. I just want to really make sure that I'm yeah, maybe a bit more down this bottom bit, probably, or not. Okay, let's do this one here, just to be sure, and then because it seems like it's a bit small, needs to stand out a little more. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I will need to double check, but I'm just kind of doing a very basic, you know, pebbly kind of skin. Because if I actually go back, hold on a moment, let me actually bring up the image that I had somewhere of the Stegosaurus. Well, it's not just a Stegosaurus, you see, that's the thing, that it's coming from multiple taxa, so it's not just Stegosaurus. Because it may be that multiple taxons may have different shape of scales as well. That's quite possible. Need to find it though, because I don't remember where I have it. It's definitely somewhere, which obviously can be quite, yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, we'll need to look it up quickly because I don't want to jump into doing scales before revising. Okay, yeah, I found it. Let's see. Well, I wouldn't, I mean, that's the thing, it's, they're not really, like, they're kind of hexagonal, but at this scale you probably wouldn't really care about noticing the difference all that much, in my opinion. They're mostly just the same as other large dinosaur skin that have scales, pretty much. So, to demonstrate, it could vary between something like this. Don't know if you can see it, but see? Or alternatively, it could be something like this, or a combination. And of course, maybe a bit more extra layer and thickness on the throat area here, because that's apparently got some armor in it. Yes, they should have beaks. For some reason, Jurassic World decided to remove beaks from their Stegosaurus model, and I don't understand why. Let's just double check, but I'm pretty sure they should have beaks. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, I would say they should have. Don't understand why they removed it in the first place. It would be right at the tip, but it wouldn't be obviously spreading too far back. But let me double check. Well, yes, there would be. I'm pretty sure there should be a beak. It just wouldn't be as large, like I said. I don't know why they removed the beak from their model. I have no idea why they decided to do that and just made it lipped, basically, which is not what it was supposed to be. What I will do is just now, first I'll need to do the bottom. Okay, yes, let's do it. Let's do the skin. So, make it a bit wet, because otherwise the material is gonna stick to everything. Okay, let's go. Well, yeah, I've been wanting to do that for ages myself, provided that I don't get noticed by the predators. So that would be a very nice thing to be able to do. And just come back with certain evidence and be like, here, take a look. See? It's kind of hard to see though, because it gets reflected. I don't know if you can see anything, but let's... Can you see some of it, at least? This gets reflected, because it starts kind of becoming a bit uniformed when you start spreading it around. And it's becoming a bit hard to make out, because it gets dissolved into the whole thing, because it gets really spread out. But I mean, it's only the bottom part. It's not the most crucial of the parts here. The most important ones are gonna be the ones that are the most visible. And that's where we're gonna have to be extra attentive. These parts are just there just to fill it up a little bit. Alright, never mind if you hear any voices in the background, it's my mom talking to my grandma about stuff. Right. Well, it depends. I mean, if it had the opportunity to snatch you, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't mind. You're not that small to be completely ignored. Like, yeah, of course, if there's a choice of prey better than yourself, then I would see no reason why it would go after you, unless you're right in its face. Yeah, I do that. I'm just gonna use the... Maybe it's a good idea. I know what I need to do. Freaking hell, why didn't I think of this before? Right, I'll be right back. I've got an idea. This is not good, but let me just grab a small pot. Hold on. Right. I'm here now. I don't understand what's going on because on my phone it shows perfectly fine. But when I look at my PC screen, that... Okay, okay, good. If it's working, that's good. Because on my computer it's showing the loading screen, so it's not really refreshing properly. I don't know what's going on. As long as you can see me here, I'm happy. Just needed to get some water so that I could wet the thing without having any problems, so I don't have the material sticking. Right. Let's try this one. Yeah, you need to go back a little bit in the thing, so just watch it a couple like minutes back. But to summarize, to make it short, I would think a combination of green and brown, maybe beige, possibly black as well. But that's my suggestion. Just trying to see if I can... Well, I mean, we have covered this particular question already, more or less. But that's basically what I would give you as my personal prediction. When it comes to these things, I kind of use the baseline of crocodilians, but obviously then try to make sure that it sort of makes sense, at least to a degree, given the environment where they were featured and lived their lives. So it's what I personally think makes most sense. But again, if we find good evidence to suggest otherwise, then I'll just stick with whatever the evidence says. And also, once we do all this stamping here, like, let me turn it around carefully, So I shouldn't pick it up from the bottom now, because that's where the texture is. Right. You mean what material is it, or do you mean what this is? Where's the other one? Right, hold on a sec. I'm gonna need another tool. Favorite herbivore? Probably say either a trike or ankylosaurus. Either one of these would probably be my favorite. It's hard to say though, because there's many of them that are really cool looking as well. And I can't find my other sculpting tool that I really need. Damn it. Right. Oh yeah, there it is. Found ya. It. Don't have a least favorite. I like all dinosaurs really, so this is probably one of the good ideas why it may be better to sculpt the parts completely separately, because that way you can get into all these different areas that are really hard to get to with the tools. And now I have to do like stuff this way just because I can't get with my tool, you know, with my stamp towards it. Some areas are just too difficult to access, and obviously that's going to mean that some of the patterns might not quite look uniformed, but then again, it's not really gonna be that noticeable in comparison. It's gonna be noticeable to a degree, of course, but not too much. At least I don't think. Sorry. You know what? You know what? This needs to be trimmed. Let's just trim it a little bit. And there we go. It's going to give me a slightly better access to some of these areas. Oh my goodness. The bottom parts are always my least favorite to do because they freaking, you know, hands get tired as crazy. It's this, I don't know if you can see. It's like a texture sort of stamp thing that I've made myself. I'll need to probably make a couple more smaller ones, like really small ones, so I can get into different areas better. That's one lesson learned here. Thank you, Nolan. Thanks very much. And it makes for a very comfortable tool generally to make quick scale textures, because like individual tools like these, they are quite, you know, they make things a lot easier. I will say that. But I mean, it takes ages sometimes with these things to get sculpted. Like literally, you can tell now. Oh, I'm pretty sure they did, or maybe part of the reason why is because a lot of their texture is not pebbly on the skin. When you talk about the smaller sculptures, I think they just use the skin folds and the lines, and few of them they just kind of abrupt them. And I think that's what it is. Because if you look at the Horizon kits, the vinyl kits, you know, of their dinosaurs, you can tell that most of the skin that they have on their dinosaur kits, which are basically made as reproductions from their original designs, they are not as detailed as that. There are bigger ones maybe, but not the small ones. At least, not to my recollection. Alright. Take care. We'll definitely have some fun with this for sure. This is gonna be a really nice dinosaur when it's finished, but it's quite a long way before it gets finished. Okay, so we'll do a few more at least just to get, okay, hold on. Imagine if I dropped it. That would be freaking, oh my god, I would rage, literally. I would just absolutely go ballistic if that happened. Right, okay, I'm gonna be probably wrapping it up soon because it's been going on for quite a while. And I will need to also do some more things before I go to sleep as well, because it's almost 11 o'clock here. So let's say another 15 minutes and I'm probably gonna wrap it up. I will definitely continue working on it off camera anyway, and by the time I do the next week stream, if it's still not completed, I will do a part 2 live stream on finishing it up. That's for sure. Oh boy. To be honest, not really interested in digital. I'm just not that kind of guy, I guess. I mean, there are things that I want to do in my digital work, but that's more to do with me needing to do specific drawings, which are a bit more technical rather than this kind of stuff. But nah, I mean, I'm just not into it, I guess. I just really don't get. I mean, I've seen some really amazing work, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not meaning to undermine it. It's really awesome of some of the stuff that I've seen people produce digitally. But when I think of sculpting, I kind of prefer to have something that I can pick up in my hands, you know what I mean? Dude, read the title of the video. And hello, welcome. Just as I am about to wrap up. I'm just gonna stick around for a few more minutes and then I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah, sorry by the way about my particular, I don't know what, I can't really say lack of sense of humor perhaps in some instances. It's just today is one of those days, I guess, where if there was any jokes, I may have failed to see them in the right time. So yeah, if there were times when somebody was saying something or whatever, and if it was meant to be a genuine joke, then I'm sorry if I didn't get it. There are sometimes when I don't, yeah, when I just miss them. While other times I'm the kind of guy who likes to crack them as well. So, go figure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Just gonna try and get as much of this. Yeah, it gets pretty tiring Right. Yeah, it will obviously be done a lot more once I go off camera. Not today, maybe, because once I do wrap up this video, this live stream, I'm just gonna put it aside and let my hands and eyes rest a little bit as well, because it does. Sculpting is great, don't get me wrong, I love it, as you can tell, but it does tire you a little bit. I don't know if you can see much, but let's see. Can I? I will. I will make a trike, and as a matter of fact, I have a very special idea for that kit. I will make a body of specific shape, and then I will make it so that some of the legs will be available for different poses, and I will make the different heads to represent 4 different dinosaurs, because they're all pretty much the same size and they share the same kind of basic body plan based on the evidence that we know anyway. And if there are any differences, they are just negligible at that point, so no point making multiple torsos. And that's also good for economic reasons, to reduce the production cost, so that means that it will be more affordable for people to purchase it when it's available. And that will involve 4 different dinosaurs, so that's Triceratops horridus, Triceratops parorsus, Torosaurus latus, and Bravoceratops polyphemus. So we will have several of these ceratopsians made on a base of the same torso, with 4 different heads to represent 4 different species, and with a couple alternate maybe legs to kind of change the poses around so they don't look exactly like copy and paste versions of each other, with few alterations. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's the plan for that kit. Oh, Eotriceratops is a bit larger, so I don't want to really include that one in that lot, because that guy is supposed to be considerably larger than any of the listed. I mean, I don't know how much evidence is really known from the skeletal, but I would imagine it's significantly larger to be distinctive enough. But no, I don't think I will be making that. I mean, it's not particularly different enough to stand out. It's just basically a larger version of a Triceratops. I believe they are both even in the same small family, like known as Triceratopsini or something like that. So I kind of, where I can, I want to avoid making extremely similar looking species or taxons. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I think this is time to start wrapping it up. So I thank you all for joining, those who have come here so far. And sorry that those who came a bit later came too late. Because maybe the time difference or many other potential reasons. But it's time to wrap up now with this live stream. I've got to go. I want to eat something, and then after some time later I might probably just go to sleep. So I will probably join you again for another stream next week, and hopefully maybe make some videos in between if I have time and opportunity. I noticed that I haven't been making a lot of videos lately, but more so streams. But like I said, you can only fit that many things in your schedule if you're only one person doing all of it. So there is that. Now, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. So that's where we got so far with my Stegosaurus. So we'll just turn it around carefully here. Just give you a brief overview of what we have done in today's session. And that's it. Take care, everybody, and I will